So we already broke out the GoPro. I mean, that's really where the show started, was from getting the GoPro Hero 10. But we also added a weather camera, a drone, and a weather station, and we also sort of added a target audience. So some of these things you have yet to see, some of these things you were actually out and you got the chance to, see the drone in action, or like on Instagram, I'm sure some of you guys got the chance to see a little bit of the weather time lapses that I've released. So what are your thoughts on adding in like some of these different investments for the show?
The GoPro has worked really well. I like the gyroscopic lens on it, that we can be walking around and hiking and doing that sort of stuff where you can't hold the camera necessarily real steady, but with that gyroscopic lens, it gives you a real steady, good shot, even moving around in that stuff. And even for myself, who is not a photographer in any way, I can still kind of carry it around and get some shots with it and that sort of stuff. The drone is going to be cool as well. We've kind of tested that out some and done some test flights, and it's going to give us a real cool perspective. I'm looking forward to going to like some overlooks and being able to fly it and get some good shots of overlook. If we go to like a body of water, to be able to kind of get some shots flying out over the body of water, and just generally wherever we're hiking, to be able to put it up and get perspective on where we are. That's one of the tough things about hiking. You're just in the middle of the woods, just looking at the trees around you, and it's hard sometimes to really comprehend the perspective of like where you're at. Like one of the things I like to do when I'm done hiking, I usually track it with my GPS watch or my phone and the GPS on that. One of the cool things I like to do afterwards then is to like look at the map of where I've hiked and to see the perspective. Like I was out here in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of like all these woods, or I didn't know I was this close to civilization. The last hike we went on, we were looking at the map afterwards, and you're like, oh, there's like a bar like right there on the other side of the woods from where we were at. Like we thought we were way out there, and we weren't really that far from civilization at one point. So I think that perspective that the drone can give us can kind of do that, show where you are in the bigger scheme of things, and I think that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. The idea of just having the drone, and for those of you who don't know, I just actually got the 107 commercial pilot license, which allows me to be able to throw the drone up at least up to 400 feet at altitude, and I'm able to film and then actually use the footage for social media. So that is a big part of what we're going to do moving forward, adding into the all seasons show. But yeah, aside from that, the GoPro has been fantastic. I can't wait to show you guys. I can't wait for you guys to see the upcoming episode 1 for season 3 of all seasons, because the GoPro just looks fantastic in the winter. It's just so easy to color grade. It's very sharp, very clean. It just looks fantastic. But yeah, so I want to pivot for a second, and I know that Josh, you're kind of more of a special guest. You kind of got thrown into this. You're more of like a behind the scenes like tech guy with PA Woods and Forests and Woods and Forests Media. But I mean, what are your ideas? I know you've had some ideas about possibly wanting to become either a guest or a assistant host or something like that along those lines with Ben. I mean, what are some of your thoughts moving forward with like the all seasons show?
Yeah, going back to the introduction kind of with like the outdoors, one of the things I wanted to eventually incorporate, which for right now might be a little more difficult to do with just like our gear and whatnot, but eventually would like to do like overnight type stuff. It can be kind of like going out to a specific site that we research. Either can just be something that's aesthetically pleasing, or a specific animal or something that we're trying to look for, and then we kind of document camping. Not that it's a camping series, but it's more or just like, here's what we're setting up. It's kind of quick. We get back to what we're actually doing there. They kind of give more of a drawn out like experience of like what we're actually doing out there. Going back to like the equipment, I think the drone is like a necessary upgrade. It's modern. I think it's very good that you got that license because it's going to give a really decent perspective, and we can get a lot of footage of us doing things kind of like from a third person perspective while we're out in the field. As far as working with Ben, I mean, I'm kind of just there to do whatever you guys need. I don't know about the hosting per se, but maybe like a co-hosting style where like I would rather not be the main person making all the decisions until I get comfortable. But I would like to be a part of planning or even just getting equipment and getting out to a site and maybe filming or whatever. And you and I have talked about video editing, but that would take some time to get to the point where it's quality, content. I don't know. So it's kind of like more of a distant future outlook, and then a little bit of like, what can I do this year, I guess, with hosting in a sense. I like the idea of doing the podcast, kind of like what we're doing now. I don't know how to come up with really good ideas, but I guess you kind of learn as you go. So
Yeah, this is all just a giant melting pot. Ask Amelia, and DJ's been a part of it, and Drew. So we've had a lot of cool, like, awesome perspectives on differing opinions and, very different topics. But before we kind of go into the next more exciting and open topic, I want to ask you this real quick. So Josh, you were actually the star of the first episode of All Seasons, and you never made an appearance after that. So I'm curious to see, like, or hear, what is your thoughts or opinions on, like, how the show has progressed and how it's kind of grown, because you kind of pitched the idea and, like, Ben and I just kind of ran with it, and now it's become what it has now, where, we had the county commissioner out hiking with us, and we've had guys who were overseeing, like, they're the president or executive director of these boards for these nonprofits, and they're going with us, like, showing us their property, and, like, they're proud to do it. I mean, what is your opinion on all that?
yeah, I'm actually like really impressed. I'm also like really encouraged. I didn't realize that many people, and by people I mean in a professional standing, like the people that you're talking about, like they have something to show. It's not just random people, and that's fine too. But you've really been able to reach out and get the correct people, I guess, to show off PA Woods and Forests, right? It kind of happened pretty quick, and I think that that's a good sign of growth in the right way. I think that with a little bit of tweaking and a little bit more people and stuff like that, this could be a pretty good year. I think that those people kind of open the door for other conversations that we haven't had with other people that can lead to some pretty big things. So yeah, I'm pretty impressed with it, to be honest with you. So I kind of just had the idea because I'm like, oh, let's just do this. People did this on YouTube, and I thought that was really cool. But then now it's turning into, okay, we're gonna actually incorporate this into PA Woods and Forest, in the media aspect of things, and kind of taking its own little thing. So I think it's really cool.